Uh, I don't think it's true that they wanted to trade Adams.
I was
I
reading
guess we
they
should
wanted
bring
a
up the Williams
second.
trade.
Well, yeah, I was going to get to that, but they also wanted a second for Robbie Anderson. No team was offering above a fourth for him. And I don't know why Jets think he was worth a second.
If I told you could get a second for Mo Sanu, you wouldn't believe me.
I'd slap you across the face, but I'm going to actually comment on that. Bill Belichick literally strangleheld the market by putting a second on Sanu to make sure there was a standard now. No, I'm serious. Bill did that.
I like it.
He slapped a second on there and be like, listen, I'm going to place a second. I'm going to get my wide receiver I want. And the rest of the teams now are going to overpay if they want to. But they're probably not going to because it's too high of a pick. He put
Makes
a chokehold on the market.
He's a genius.
New rule.
Oh, God.
Fucking draft picks need to be like, this certain age, you're not getting more than this. Like these teams, like, and by the way, I don't need NBA bullshit going on. What happened today with Akeem Talib is like fucking lawyers finding loopholes to get out of the cap. Fuck the Rams and their cap shit. They just found out how to make their cap easier because they fucked up. You know what? You fucked up. You signed all of those players to those contracts. You dug yourself into a hole. You gave $55 million guaranteed to a fucking running back with degenerative knees. It's your fault. You don't get to play some NBA shit and get a 7th round pick and trade a 5th round pick for some dumbass to take some salary on. It's bullshit. And as far as this should be the last year that any other team like Miami gets to do this dumbass shit too, because they're starting this shit. If I got to watch the fucking NBA and the NFL over another season again, I swear to God, I'm going to shoot somebody.
You mean tanking?
This is beyond tanking, dude. Like, this is like, okay, this is like what I tell, like, young generations compared to my generation. My generation, when we walked down the sidewalk at 13, 14, 15, smoking a cigarette, every white car we saw, we dove into the fucking woods. These assholes now spit in the cop's face while they're giving them a ticket and tell them that they're getting the wrong way when they're clearly underage smoking. That's the difference. Hey, we've seen tanking before.
Were you guilty if you're diving in the bushes that quick?
But by the time, what are they going to do? Come get in the car and go into the bushes? Like, adults were like, well, at least the dipshit jumped in the bushes. Like, there was, like, this unwritten rule of, we're not going to chase you because you're smart enough to like, run away, you know? No. It's just, like, so no, I don't need to see blatant tanking, and now we're trading draft picks away and taking on, like, no, screw that. We're not going to pay for draft picks. This is the most blatant, irritating, unintegral bull crap I've ever seen in the league. It's NBA fodder bullshit. I don't watch the NBA because those guys are dumbasses. I don't care. It's dumbass shit. This is ridiculous. The Rams put themselves in cap hell, and now they got a lot of cap relief because you're not even supposed to be able to trade players on IR. FYI, like, what the fuck is that?
Actually,
it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. If I want to watch the NBA, I'll turn on fucking TNT. That's why that shit don't even exist on my channels in my TV. I don't pay for that shit because I won't watch it.
That's why it's called NBA TV.
Boy, I respect your opinion, sir, but I couldn't agree less. I think we talked about how next year you've got Xavier Howard and Talib possibly making a good duo on the outside for a rebuilding team on the offensive side of the ball. And as far as tanking goes, I mean, yeah, maybe the front office is looking forward to the first overall pick.
You can't blame Miami. It's all these other teams that gave them the draft picks. It's not like Miami forced these guys to do it. I mean, Miami literally just put out an offer and says, hey, we want 2 firsts for Laramie Tunsil. And the Texans, the 4 idiots who are playing GM, goes, okay, we'll do it. And, I mean, it's not Miami's fault. They literally put out an offer, and the Texans did it. I mean, and then the Texans said, here, do you want more picks for Kenny Stills, a washed-up wide receiver? Sure. Like, it's not Miami's fault. They put out an offer. The idiots were dumb enough to accept it.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not that big of a deal because you're getting a premier left tackle and a damn good slot receiver, and you're getting
Tunsil hasn't been playing like a premier left tackle.
He's young though. Like what we know now, and when they traded for him, it looked a lot better. This crap with Talib, This is NBA crap. This is, oh, well, we were stupid and overpaid for a bunch of, top 3 picks. They don't pan out. And so now we're going to hope that some other team will bail us out so that we can try to go get LeBron James in the offseason. No, dude. That's what the CBAs are for. If you want to be a moron and write a paycheck out and it's too much, guess what?
So are you blaming the Colts for freeing up that much cap space? Because they did it the year before, too, and they had $100 million to begin this year with.
Was it done like this?
They tanked. Yes,
before
Andrew Luck,
not
they
like
tanked.
this. Not like no, they didn't. They had no. Their team was terrible because it was just like the Packers. It was all built around Peyton Manning scoring 40 yards.
QB, you tank.
Listen, I'll say this.
Do you realize that
the
back then,
night,
those quarterbacks were like the backup quarterbacks in the last 5 to 6 years? Really, like there's a lot more. We're in the age of backup quarterbacks this year. Think of all the backup quarterbacks that have come in, and they combined, they have a way over 500 winning record. That's not heard of. Like most of the time you get a backup quarterback, you're lucky to go 2-3 down a 5-game stretch. You're hoping you can go 500 anytime they got to play 4 or more games, and that usually you get 1 or 2 wins if you're damn lucky. These guys have been going, you got Josh Allen, 5-1, right? You got Teddy Bridgewater, who, by the way, if I was him, I'd be wanting to get cut. Like, that game, I know everybody wants to talk about how great Drew Brees' stat line was, but that game plan was the same thing that Teddy Bridgewater was doing. The throws he was making weren't even as great as what Teddy Bridgewater was doing. Teddy was getting better. And the fact that he had to keep going on the sidelines and showing out that he could do Twitter thumb war, shadow boxing so that he could get on TV just reiterates how much of a selfish bastard he was. He didn't need to be in that game. That offense wasn't the offense that he normally runs. He just basically jumped in there, ran Teddy Bridgewater's offense, not quite as good, put up a great box score, and then stood on the sidelines and fiddled his thumbs so the cameras would keep panning over to him. It's goddamn sickening.
Okay, one, Teddy was there after Drew got hurt, but Drew's been there for how long? He was not Teddy's offense. That's Drew's offense that Teddy was running. They had just molded it around Teddy while he was there.
It's Teddy's offense now. They told him he's the future. It's not the same offense that he runs. It's not the same plays they called.
Jay, what is the hatred for Drew, man?
Because he's an asshole. What is it?
See, you have this hatred towards him, so you're going to say he looks bad in every way. He threw his interception, got out of the way, and he had 3 beautiful touchdowns.
He does shadow boxing thumb war. That's the most ridiculous thing I've seen on the sidelines in my life. That is so look at me, look at me, look at me.
What did Brixton say about Tom Brady?
Do you realize I was listening to national TV today, and there was at least 4 people that said the same thing I did, that was ridiculous, that his box score is great, but what did he do that Teddy couldn't do? What was the point of putting him in there? He could get re-injured. The fact he was in that game and still having to do his Twitter little thumbs, and you could tell he didn't have as much zip. He had to wear a brace on it. Tells you he's not 100% healed. He's not a full go, and he can't do everything he can do. So it's just he's selfish. Why? Because he's worried that the more Teddy will win, the faster they're going to push his old ass out the door. Because he had dead arm at the end of the year last year. He's just, I can't take him anymore. We should go away.
See, Dylan, does he not hate Drew Brees?
He really does. I mean, when Dave is calling someone else biased, I know it must be bad.
And I know I'm against Stafford at sometimes. I got that. But, man, I do not go off like that. Woo! I just watched the J train roll by, and Cole was shoveling in that steam engine, baby.
Oh, man, this is authentic, too. This isn't Jim Rome. This isn't Colin Cowherd.
This isn't a hot take. This is a pure hatred for this man, and I am loving it.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I used to think the world of Drew Brees, and I'm a dad, okay? And there's one thing that I'm going to be off your boat and up your ass, and I'm going to hate on you the rest of your life. The minute that I think that, and I know, and I watch you twice on national TV, blatantly talk about telling your sons they can do anything. Well, your 9 or 10-year-old daughter that's 5 or 6 years older than them boys that can barely understand what you're telling them, and you never talk about them. You keep your wife and your daughter in the back burner while you're on national TV celebrating with your 2 boys. man, I'm out on that dude. I'm out. Like, you do not sit there and talk on national TV talking about, I tell my boys, well, you got 3 kids, buddy, and your daughter is a lot older and understands. So what, you don't tell your daughter she can, and what, your boys can come up because they can be football players, but your wife and daughter got to stand on the background while you're on national TV on Monday Night Football celebrating, and your wife is got to stand behind you with some security guards while you're sitting there bouncing your 2 boys. And, like, I'm out on that. I'm a dad with a girl and a boy. I'm out. When you show me that, I'm out on you, dude.
But where do you have, like, besides that, where do you have proof that he neglects his daughter?
Dude, he said it with his own 2 words. When I talk about my kids and telling my kids stuff, never ever do I say, oh, I tell my son this. Oh, I tell my daughter. I tell my kids this. He blatantly is telling you he talks to his sons one way, and who the hell knows what he tells his daughter.
But you're taking it that way. He doesn't say, I ignore my daughter.
Dave, I have talked to you for 6 months. Never have I once heard you say, oh, I tell my boys this, I tell my girl. I've heard you several times when you talk about it. It's my kids. My kids. Unless one individual kid is doing something specific, you always say your kids. I am around a lot of other couples over the last 10 years. I have never heard of any other mother or daughter specifically talking about when they're being taught. My son, when they got both, it's always my kids. My kid. And he was on national TV 3 times. I'm out, man. Out. And on the fact that I have heard other stories about him mentally breaking quarterbacks that were brought in there that he was threatened by and a complete arrogant dick to him. Like, I don't care. The man of the year shit, whatever. Who cares? Like, that's all public persona, and a lot of people can walk around being two-faced people. The world is full of two-faced people. They're great in public, and as soon as they're somewhere else, they're a completely different person. I've seen enough. I've heard enough, and when I look in the man's eyes, it reminds me of looking in Putin. Ain't something right about that man's eyes. Sorry. I'm out.
So I'm gonna play this card. How many times have you defended Aaron Rodgers on the family narrative? This is the same thing. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors, man.
You know what? I never had Aaron Rodgers have kids. See, it's different with kids, dude. Don't play. No, when you're talking about kids and you specifically are on stage, and it's not just about what you said. He never said
word for word he neglects his daughter.
He doesn't need to. Dude, my mother told me all my life, actions speak louder than words. If I have kids and I'm going to tell you this right now, Dave. If something that big in my life happened, there would be no way in hell there would ever be a shot of me on camera without all of my family in my arms. I would never, ever have my wife and daughter stand behind me while I'm celebrating breaking a national football record. They would be right there along with me, whether I talk about them or not. They would be right there. The fact that man had his wife and daughter standing behind him while his 2 boys were there in the spotlight, and then after the game did the same exact shit. There was no extra chairs there. His 2 boys got to sit on his knees. He could have simply said, hey, my wife and daughter need a spot too, and they would have made room. But no, they had to stand there in the background smiling, and the camera had to pan. The actions speak louder than words. I have never seen an interaction or heard a specific interaction with Aaron Rodgers and his family. I've seen and heard Drew Brees interact with his family on several accounts now on national TV, and it's the same stuff. I'm out on him. Not to mention, I really don't care for him as like the quarterback that everybody says he is when you watch him on tape. Sorry.
All right, I'm going to respectfully disagree, but I'm going to move on. So I looked up the Talib money as well on the Miami from LA. They're only taking a $5 million chunk, and LA's still paying. They're not just shoveling off the money. They're also taking a, believe, $7 million cap hit on top of getting rid of him as well. So, I mean, they're both paying his salary for the year while him being on IR. That was part of the deal.
Talk about having it made.
I mean, yeah, that NFL life, man. But,
so here's
go ahead, Dylan.
Going back to the Jamal Adams thing real quick. Do you think this is something that they're going to get resolved, or do you think it's going to be a